Om 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 Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Hari Om. Welcome to day 3 of Vedanta Shravana Sadhana Yagna Vivekachoodamani. Until yesterday, we saw about the different people the different ways by which we can lift ourselves by ourselves, and then for what purpose is karma? Chittasya shuddhaye karma natu vastu upalabhyate. Doing actions is only for purification of mind. It is not meant for finding the self. For finding the self, a different type of karma is required. A different type of action, which is vichara. It is not the action that we do in the world outside. For example, if I want to gain mastery of physics, I should not be spending my time studying geography. That will not give me mastery of physics. So in the same way, if I want to realize the self, a different type of action is required, which is an action related to the mind or our thinking process. So Bhagavan Sri Adisankaracharya now talks about the qualifications of a fit student who wants to realize the self or to know the truth of the self. Verses 14 to 17. Adhikarinama shaste phalasiddhir visheshataha upaya deshakaladhyah santyasmin sahakarinah. Adhikarinam ashahate phalasiddhir visheshataha. For attaining siddhi of knowing who I am, a specific qualification is required. And adhikaritvam. Adhikari means on which somebody stands. Adhi, kara. Kara is to do. Adhi means standing on which I do something. So what is the qualification on which the seeker of truth has to stand upon? Upayaha deshakaladhyaha. There are many conducive means like desha, the right time, and the right space and all that. But they are only santi asmin sahakarinaha. They only are helping. They are only sahakaris. They are not the main qualifications, the main requirements for knowing the self. For example, if I need to meditate quietly, the right atmosphere of quietness and the right time where I'm not disturbed are only means for meditation. They are not the main reasons for achieving a meditative mind. In the same way, the main reasons for achieving the realization of the self or being a fit student are some qualifications that are going to be mentioned. Of course, a satisfactory time. For example, people say, to realize the truth, I want to finish off with all my actions. I want to retire. That is only one of the reasons. It's not the main reasons. So what are the main reasons? Ato vichara kartavyo jignasor atmavastunaha samasadhya daya sindhum Gurum Brahmaviduttamam. So the student who wants to seek the self, who wants to know the self, who wants to realize the self, vicharaha kartavya. They have to do vichara. They have to do thinking. Vichara is different from worrying. Worry is out of ignorance, it happens. Vichara is out of knowledge of the process, of the path, thinking in a particular manner, thinking in the right manner that will yield the result of what we are thinking about. Jignasoho. Who is the person who is doing the vichara? The jignasu, or the one who seeks to realize the truth, the one who wants to know the truth. Jnatum icha, the one who seeks to know something, the one who desires to know something is a jignasu. What is the desire that he is having? Vastuhu atmanaha vastu. The object of desire is a self. The object of desire is to know who I am. When we see ourselves in front of the mirror, we see our reflection in the mirror. But that reflection in the mirror is, when we see the reflection, when the attention is there on the reflection in the mirror, we do not actually realize ourself. We do not realize our personality that is seen in the mirror. We get lost with the image in the mirror. We wonder why the eyes are like this, or why the nose is like this, or whether we like the image or not. We are bothered about the image. We are not thinking about the self that is being shown in the image. So to realize this self, to know this self in its true meaning, in its true understanding, what actually is the self all about. So that is the purpose of vichara. How should I do this vichara? Should I just sit by myself, take up a book, and this is the way I should do vichara? No. Samasadhya, samyak asadhya. I should approach properly with the right attitude the master. Who is the master? He is an ocean of compassion. Daya Sindhum. He is not going to be the person who says, oh, you want to realize yourself now? You finished all other work in this world, everything you've achieved, now you want self-realization? It's not the person who makes fun like that, but it's the person who looks at us with compassion. Daya Sindhum, an ocean of compassion. Why ocean? Not little bit compassion today and tomorrow all compassion gone. He can show as much compassion as he wants because he is an ocean. The very ocean of compassion is at his command. Guru is the one who dispels the darkness of ignorance of who I truly am. Now, what am I thinking about myself? I'm thinking I am this body, but I am something beyond this body, mind, and even intellect. What is that I? I do not know. I need a person to guide me. Daya Sindhum, Gurum, Brahmavid, Uttamam. That Guru is a Brahmavid. The one who knows the Brahman is Brahmavid. The best among the Brahmavids, meaning he is the knower of the truth and he remains in that. He is not the kind of person who wants to make money out of this knowledge, build ashrams. It is not wrong to build ashrams or maintain ashrams, but the purpose of that knowledge of that Brahmavid is not to achieve something in this world, not to achieve name and fame. Everything happens around him. Gurudev Swami Chinmaya ji says, you don't need to do anything to build an ashram. When you live the life a certain way, when you live the life of realization, when you live the life of devotion, when you live the life of Ishvara Pranidhana, surrendering to Bhagavan, then an ashram forms around you to facilitate more and more people to come around and achieve that realization. Brahmavid Uttamam. The next verse. So we have to approach such a Brahmavid in the right manner, in the most devoted manner, offering him what he really wants, what he truly wants, and learn from that Daya Sindhu, learn from that ocean of compassion. There are many, many beautiful verses in Vivekachoodamani that we would love to meditate upon, we would love to chant and sing like mantras. The 14th, 15th, 16th verse. Medhavi Purusho Vidwan Uha Poha Vichakshanaham Adhikaryatma Vidyayam Ukta Lakshana Lakshitaham. The student has got to be a Medhavi. Medhavi is used to very derisively to make fun of people who think too much about their own knowledge. That is not this Medhavi. This Medhavi is one who remembers, not one who can utter by heart Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutras, the Brahma Sutra Bhashyas, the Upanishads, the Upanishad Bhashyas by heart. People do by heart of that. There's nothing wrong in by heart, learning by heart and telling by heart, but it is not a show of our memory. Medhavi is a person who remembers the essence of all experiences from childhood that we have had. The essence of experiences, remembering the essence of all experiences, and knowing that these experiences are repetitive is the purpose of being a Medhavi. If I've enjoyed going to an amusement park and having a ride on the giant wheel, and if I know the thrill and the fear that that giant wheel ride has given me, then I have had the knowledge of that experience, that emotion which I've experienced through that experience of the giant wheel. I don't need to go to an amusement park again to have the same thrills. So that is what Medhavi is. You just pass through all the experiences in life and you don't need to get back to them, because you have, even if the experience of getting angry, being sad, being worried, the experience of poverty, the experience of being the object of criticism, being the object of somebody's smashing, whatever it is, we take in the experience completely, we cast our awareness on the experience, we accept the experience, we neutralize the experience by being balanced and not actually reacting to that, and then we respond to that experience in the most graceful manner with knowledge. So that is what a Medhavi is all about. Purushaha, the human being, Medhavi, he is a Vidwan, the one who has studied the Vedas, the one who has applied the Vedas in knowing what to do in this world. He has applied it in the world, applied it in his own self, his own personality, and purified his mind with that knowledge. And then he has also got the ability, the ability to segregate between what is to be argued on the side of the Vedas and how to refute the Vedic statements when people say this is not correct, that is not correct, the Vedas say this, and they talk against the Vedas. He should be able to refute, defending the Vedas. Adhikari Atma Vidyayam. Such a person becomes fit to know the true self. Before striving to know who I am, we should strive to know the means of knowledge, to study the means of knowledge, serve the means of knowledge by taking it to others in the world, and then become fit to know who I am the knower of that knowledge. Ukta Lakshana Lakshitaha. So the person, he becomes qualified to know the true self. So there should be Shraddha. Shraddha is that kind of it is not just faith is the English word. Vishwasa, that's another word. Shraddha is a kind of unshakable steadiness of personality which is born out of assimilating and understanding the experiences of the world, the knowledge of the Shastras, with the full faith that this knowledge is true and it is going to take me to the goal. The knowledge is true. What my Guru has taught me is real, and yes, I have that belief, and it is going to take me into that supreme truth within. That is called Shraddha. When Because this Shraddha has to arise from within. We cannot all the time depend on books. We cannot all the time depend on the words of our master. The words of our master we can hear directly, then we can reflect. Now we have medium of communication like the mobile phone, the speakers, the Bluetooth and all that, the audio systems, everything is there. But we cannot take it with us all the time. We cannot have it with us in all places. There are certain places when we'll be left alone, when everything has to come from within us. Shraddha is basically that sense of inspiration, that firm faith and feeling that yes, it is true and I can achieve it. That faith comes with complete belief in the Guru and the Shastras, and it is in this belief that complete energy resides. Energy or God or power is not in any other object in this world. That energy is there in our Shraddha, and that is what we have to cultivate. Vivekino viraktasya shamadhi gunashaliнаः mumukshoreva hi brahma jignasa yogyata mata. The person, the jignasu, the one who knows, the one who wants to know, becomes yogyata. He develops that, he cultivates a kind of a qualitative authority to know the truth. What should he have? Vivekinaha. He must be having the power to distinguish between the self and the not self. Who am I and what I am not? And then once he learns to distinguish between the two, virakta, having detachment from whatever takes me away from the self to the not self. Shamadhi gunashalinaha. He must be endowed with the qualifications like shama or quietude of mind. Bhagavan Adisankaracharya will explain that later. Mumukshoreva hi brahma jignasa. So that kind of a mumukshu is a person. Here the four main qualities are given. Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadhi, Shatka Sampattihi, and Mumukshutva. Mumukshutva means an intense desire for liberation. This intensity is what matters. Whatever we do, if we are going to be very sloppy, it can be even making a cup of coffee. But if that person is not having the right amount of intensity within, the coffee is not going to be really very fine to taste. So the best of coffees, which is offered in our restaurants, or the classic, the preparations of food, everything comes, the name comes to those shops because of the intensity that they put into that, the work that they do. There is a very nice coffee shop, I think it's called Murali's Coffee in Sri Rangam. It is opposite the mandapam outside the temple, and that shop is very famous. There are even YouTube videos about that coffee. People from all around, they open the shop at 3 o'clock in the morning, and people from homes, people from nearby places, everybody, they'll bring their cups and their vessels to fill up coffee to drink at home. It is very, very famous. There is no advertisement, there is no board, but that intensity with which they prepare, the early morning time they get up, the method by which they prepare, how they wash the vessels the previous night and they dry it, and the way they boil the milk again and again and again in that same vessel, or whatever experience that they have, that makes it so unique that people, it has got a name of its own, that even without knowing anything about the shop, they're all, by word of mouth, they identify the place. So that is what is called Shraddha, which takes us to some realization. In this case, realization of good coffee. The 4 qualifications of the sadhaka, which is it is being mentioned in the Vivekachoodamani. The earlier verse just highlighted them as words. Now Bhagavan Adisankaracharya is spending a few verses explaining each sadhana, explaining each qualification. Sadhanan yatra chatvari katitani manishibhi yeshu satsveva sannishtham yada bhavena siddhyati. If I want to realize the self, I need these 4 qualifications. If these qualifications are not there, that self-realization is not going to happen. It is very, very simple. Our Pujya Guruji Swami Tejomananda Ji very often says, he advises even the Brahmacharis and Swamis, when he meets them, he talks to them about the Sadhana Chatushtaya, the 4 types of sadhanas that we need to always remember. He says they are like the dials on the car. When the car is going smoothly, you know everything is right. But when the car is going through some rough ride, maybe the petrol is getting lesser, or one of the windows is open, or the seat belt is not on, or the air pressure is not right, whatever it is, the details about the car are on the dashboard. In the same way, our dashboard for life, our dashboard for self-realization is the Sadhana Chatushtaya. And we are going to see what the Sadhana Chatushtaya or the 4 parts of sadhana are. Adau nitya nitya vastu vivekah pariganyate iha amutra phala bhoga viragah tadanantaram shamadi shatka sampatti mumukshutvam iti sputam. It is very clear. Bhagavan Adisankaracharya talks about the 4 sadhanas. One is nitya anitya vastu vivekaha pariganyate. It is being completely measured. What gets measured gets done. In quantum physics also, measurement and observation makes a wave to collapse into a particle. So when everything is in a wave form, it is very vague. But when it is measured and when it is observed, it becomes a particle. So these qualities, they have to become solid in us. So we need to measure them and see how much it is there. Nitya, anitya, vastu, vivekaha. Viveka means to separate, to distinguish, to tell one thing from another. The viveka that we need to know the real truth is to separate between the nitya and anitya. What is eternal and what is temporary. It's as simple as that. Iha amutra phala. So we have phala, karma phala. Karma phala means the impressions that I have that yield pleasures in this world and that also yield pleasures in the world after I drop the body in Swarga. I want to enjoy in Swarga. I want to enjoy in a nice place after I leave this body. So giving up the desires for enjoying pleasures in this world and in the next world. Viragaha tadanantaram. After that, Shamadi Shatka Sampattihi. We are not going to explain that here because Bhagavan takes every verse to express the 6 qualities that we need to know. Shama, Adi, Shama, etc. Shama means peace of mind, and other 5 qualities which we need, which are all the wealths. The wealth is something that we can, if we have a lot of wealth, we can achieve anything that we want. If we have the wealth of Shama and the other qualities, our path to self-realization is very smooth. There are no jerks on the path because we are very well endowed. We are full in our fuel tank is full. If the Shamadi Shatka Sampattihi is not there, our fuel tank will go to 0. very soon, and we will not be able to move ahead on that vehicle towards self-realization. And then mumukshutvam. Mumukshutva is moksho me bhuyat iti ichha, which will be explained again. May I realize. The intense desire for liberation is mumukshutva. Now, what is Viveka? Brahma satyam jagan mithyeti evam rupo vinishchayaha soyam nitya nitya vastu viveka samudakritaha Brahma satyam jagan mithya iti. This is a very famous statement from Bhagavan Adisankaracharya. Brahma, that complete truth, reality, the essence, the self is alone real. Everything else that comes and goes, that undergoes modifications, including the world, the situations, the people around us, the objects, our own body, mind, and intellect are all mithya. This is very beautifully explained in that song of Bhagavan Adisankaracharya, the shloka called Nirvana Shatkam, 6 verses on liberation or steadiness or nirvana. Vana means movement, nirvana means steadiness of mind. Mano bodhyahamkara chittani naham na cha shrotra jihve na cha grana netre na cha vyoma bhumir na tejo na vayuh chidananda rupaham shivoham shivoham. I am not the sky, I am not the earth, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the air, I am not the water, I am not the earth, I am Chit Ananda Rupaha, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. So that is Brahma Satyam means that alone is a truth. Jagan Mithya, this whole world. Jaga means, Jagat means that which moves. Everything that moves is an illusion. This, for example, this book is real. The movement of this book is an illusion, means it is temporary. This book is a thought in the mind. The movement of the book is only a thought on this book in this mind. In my mind, I am seeing this book, and the book is moving as a thought in my mind. So the book is real, Brahman is real, the movement seen as Brahman is mithya. Jagat mithya. Mithya means not false but temporary. It is just a temporary phenomenon. It is not the ultimate reality. Evam rupo vinishchayaha. Visheshena nishchayaha. We have to clearly establish that this is the truth. This is the understanding. Saha ayam nitya anitya vastu vivekaha. This is the nitya, eternal, and anitya, temporary object. Viveka, the distinguishing, the separating, the differentiation between the two. Sam udakrataha. It has been completely and very clearly mentioned that this is nitya, anitya, vastu, viveka. Nitya means eternal, anitya means temporary. So that is the viveka we need to have if we want to know the truth. That's the first qualification. The second qualification, tadvairagyam jihasaya darshana shravanadibhihi dehadi brahma paryante hyanitye bhoga vastuni. Tadvairagyam jihasaya. Jihasa means I should withdraw from, I should have a kind of disgusting, it's not actually a disgusting in the real sense. It is a withdrawal from whatever is the going behind the understanding and thoughts of temporary phenomena, and focus on the permanent and the real. In our life, even when we want to achieve success, they say Focus on what you want and not what you don't want. Focus on your goal and not on the abstractions and distractions to your goal. We have to keep our focus on the goal. So, if we have to keep our focus on the goal, which is realization of the self, then jihasa. We have to withdraw from everything. Darshana Shravana Dibihi. Whatever we are seeing in front of us, we have to withdraw, which means we have to withdraw our attention. Our attention should not go behind objects of enjoyment that we see in the world, and Shravana, that we hear, which we think that we can enjoy in future lifetimes, or in heaven, or whatever. Dehadi Brahma Paryantam. From this human body unto Brahma. Brahma means the creator of this universe. That means the Adipati of Buddhi. Buddhi is our own intellect. The master of our Buddhi is Brahma. Everything, that is, who is the one who creates this world, everything is anitya, everything is impermanent. So don't even aspire for anything in this, any position in this life. Brahmaji is a position. Brahmaji is the one who helps all people with intellect, all human beings, to do all the creative activities that they are doing. All the artificial intelligence and all the mobile phones, the Xbox series, and the different types of cars, the different types of productions, manufacturing, distribution systems, the different types of administrative systems, the different brilliant ideas we get, everything is a result of Brahma's grace and blessings. So even that Brahmaji has got a permanent, he has got a temporary term only in this universe. The temporary may be a very, very long period of time, which is beyond the calculation that we can understand. But still it is impermanent. Dehadi Brahma Paryantam Anitye Bhogavastuni. So very interesting why they say we don't need to aspire for positions like Brahma, Rudra, or Maruts, or all those gods, because a Manmantra is a very, very, very long period of time. So the second Manmantra is Swarochisha Manu, Swarochisha Manmantra. In that Swarochisha Manmantra, there was a king called Suratha. He was an ordinary king ruling a kingdom, and he was sent away by enemies. He ran to the forest, and in the forest, he learned the Devi Mahatmyam from Sumedhas Rishi, and then he worshipped Devi. For 3 full years, he worshipped Devi, and he worshipped Devi, and he asked Devi, I want my kingdom back. So the Devi blessed her and said, okay, you will get your kingdom back. And she also blessed him, saying, you will become the Manu, or the ruler in the Savarani Manu, which is the next after this Vaivasvata Manu. We are in the 7th Manmantra called Vaivasvata Manmantra. And even in this Manmantra, there are some 43 or 43,200 some lakh years are there, out of which we have completed only 5,000 years in Kali Yuga. There are so many lakh years left in this Manmantra, and 43,000 something. The calculation is too long, too big, with so many zeros. So many lakh years are still there, and then the next Manmantra, the placements are all over in the second Manmantra. So the third, fourth, fifth, sixth Manmantras have gone by, and in the 7th Manmantra also we are in Kali Yuga. So many people have done tapasya. Hanumanji is the next Brahmaji for the next Manmantra. Hanuman of this Manmantra, Vaivasvata Manu, in the Krita Yuga, he is the Brahmaji for the next Manmantra. So we don't need to really strive for all these, because those posts are taken. We can strive for self-realization that we will get here and now. That is what the other person got. The other person is Samadhi, and he did not ask about his business or anything when Devi appeared before him. He says, I want to realize the self. I want to be in a very quiet state of mind, an absorbed state of mind. I don't need anything else. And she blessed him with that Samadhi state of mind, which is what we can all ask, and we will really get it. Because it is not worth, a competition should be worth fighting. When the Prime Minister's seat is taken, there is no need to fight an election, which is not going to happen at all. And even in the next election, the Prime Minister or the Chief Minister's post is going to be given only to people who have been in this field for a long time and who have worked hard for so many years. So we can only aspire for many, many years later, if at all we want to do. And even that, if we really don't have that, even if we don't have that ability or capability or the wherewithal or the money, there's no use to simply dream about something. So, Tatvairagyam Jihasaya Darshana Shravana. So give up all desires for what we want to achieve in this world and the next, if we want to know the truth. If you don't want to know who I am and all that, then go ahead and achieve how many ever manvantras are there. If it takes to achieve whatever you want to achieve, you can go ahead and do it. Dehadi Brahma Paryantam Hi Anitye Bhoga Vastuni. This Deha, this body, up to Brahmaji, everything is impermanent. So what is permanent? Only the self is permanent. Everything else from this body that we have up to Brahmaji is impermanent. So why go after something that is impermanent when we can desire and achieve something that's permanent? Virajya Vishaya Vratat Dosha Drishtya Muhurmuhu Swalakshi Niyatavastha Manasaha Shama Uchyate. Shama is quietude of mind. Quietude of mind is a desire first arises in the mind, and then it expresses through the senses, and then the sense organs of actions go to get that object of desire and give it to the body, and the mind again enjoys it. So, managing that desire even as it arises in the mind. How to do that? Virajya, just giving up. Vishaya vratat, going behind all objects of the senses. Very, very simple. We don't need to think of any objects in the world like ice cream, chocolate, biscuit, and clothes and cars, and we don't need to think about all that. We just need to think only about 5 objects. They are objects of sight, objects of hearing, objects of smell, object of taste, and object of touch. We just need to have a control over what we see, hear, taste, smell, and touch. And whatever thought we get, we should just understand whatever desire we get, that desire is coming from the object of sight or object of sound or object of smell, object of taste, or object of touch. Where is that desire coming from? I just have to realize this. And then I should look into the, how do I withdraw from that? Withdrawing from that is looking into the dosha, the difficulties that I, for example, the vishaya, the object that I desire for is cigarette. So in movies or even in the cigarette packet, it is written, cigarette smoking is injurious to health. I contemplate on this dosha. I contemplate on this verse, this warning. I think if I want to give up, if I want to quit cigarette, I consciously put my effort and think again and again and again, put my attention into that sentence. Cigarette smoking is injurious to health. Cigarette smoking is injurious to health. When I'm going on putting my attention on that sentence, meditating on that sentence, at one point of time, it is as simple as that. It is as easy as that. That is the method to give up our desires according to Bhagavan Adisankaracharya. Muhur muhuhu means again and again. Dosha drishtya. Putting an attention, if I am going on talking with my friends on mobile phone, I should put an attention to how much of my energy is being wasted, how much of my energy is going out, how much of my time is being wasted in useless talk. When I put my attention on that constantly, how much time I am wasting, measure that, focus on that, think about that, automatically I will give up all wasteful conversations, either on the phone or in person, wherever. I'll be very focused on my what I want to achieve in life. Swalakshye niyata avastha. Then keeping my mind always focused on my lakshya or my goal. And what is the lakshya for the seeker of truth? To realize myself. Niyata avastha. Manasaha shama uchyate. It is called shama or peace of mind. The calmness of mind. The mind is not getting distorted into any desires to be pursued. विषयेभ्यः परावर्त्य स्वापनं स्वस्वगोलके उभयेषामिन्द्रियाणां सदमः परिकीर्तितः विषयेभ्यः परावर्त्य. So we have not been able to control the desires in the mind, at the mind level. The desires are very intense and they are arising. Now next step, what can I do? I withdraw my senses from the objects of desire. For example, if something that is in front of me is tempting me to buy it, I shut my eyes, I remove that object, or I move myself out of that place. I can do anything by shutting my sense organs, the eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, or the skin. Shutting my sense organs is one way of, and where do I put it? Sthapanam swaswa golake. When some object is attracting me outside, actually my eye does not go and stick to that object. It is the prana shakti, the energy and the mind that go through the eye to that object and crave. The craving, the intensity of craving begins from there. When I shut the eye, or when I remove the object from my attention, the mind does not go towards that object. Vishayebhyaha paravartya, placing the mind in the golaka. Sthapanam swasva golake. Instead of meditating on that object, I meditate on the power of my seeing. I meditate on the power of my hearing. I meditate on the power of my smell. I meditate on the power of my taste. I meditate on the power of my skin. There is a devata behind all this, which means I meditate on that power, means I meditate on that devata. Dik devata, Agni devata, Surya devata, Ashwini devata, Varuna devata, and Vayu devata. When I meditate on these gods, I am putting my energy in power. I am not putting my energy into the object. When I put my energy into the object draws my energy, pulls my mind along with it. I am gone. I fall for the object. If I don't want to do that, I meditate on the powers behind the senses by shutting the sense organs and meditating within. So that is called Dhamma or control. Bhyaanalambanam vrittehe esho paratiruttama bhya analambanam vritte. After controlling all the senses, the power of the mind has completely been conquered and brought within. After that, I should just not let the mind loose without giving it any object to contemplate upon. The mind likes to keep churning with something, like a child. The child, if it has to be not doing something, going here and there, the mother gives the child the teether. The child is munching on the teether. and it is not going after any other object. In the same way, the mind is like the baby within. The baby is like looking out into so many sense organs. It is very much attracted, and it goes behind all shiny objects of taste, smell, touch, everything, whatever it can. But then you close all the sense organs, the baby is still alive inside and active. So very soon it will open its eyes. So you have to give the baby an object which it can keep working on. And what is that object? Swadharma, its own duty. Whatever duty, writing, reading, meditating, or playing a musical instrument, playing cricket, focusing on some work or some responsibility that we have to do. Bahya analambanam vrittehe esha uparatir uttama. Here uparati is just mentioned, that give it some not allowing the vritti or movement to go outside, but keep it within the mind by giving it. In Tattva Bodha, Bhagavan Sri Adisankaracharya says, uparati is swadharma anushtanam. Following my own duty is uparati. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam chinta vilaparahitam satitiksha nigadyate. Sahanam. So there is another quality. These are all qualities which we need to acquire and save with us. They are all the fuel that is going to help us on the path of self-realization. We need a lot of fuel. It's a very tough job. It's not a tough job to discourage, but it is really tough, and we need a lot of energy. It is an immortal state. For achieving an immortal state, see, for whenever we need fuel for driving cars, for driving our mopeds and driving our scooters, we need fuel to drive ships also. We need fuel to drive aeroplanes. High octane fuel is required. Aviation turbine fuel is required. We need fuel to drive rockets also. For everything, fuel is required. The fuel that's required for a rocket is not the same type of fuel, same consistency and same energy that is required to drive a motorcycle. It is a very different kind of fuel. So we need a different kind of fuel for that rocketing into self-realization. So for that fuel, these qualities are required. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam. Whenever we face difficulties in life, just accepting that difficulty is a vibration. We just accept that completely by being steady, accepting that. Apratikara purvakam, not fighting that, not resisting that. When we resist something, we get into the mode of resisting. We begin to resist that resistance, that something which we are resisting is lost from our sight. We are actually resisting, and we waste a lot of our energy resisting all the time. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam. Don't try to resist something. Just allow things to happen. Be careful. Take care of yourself. But at the same time, don't keep fighting things. Don't keep going behind people. We lose a lot of energy in that process. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam. Basically, acceptance leads to forgiveness, the emotion of forgiveness. Cultivate that emotion of forgiveness and letting go. And then we will have a very harmonious view of life at the end of it. How do we do this? How do we practice this? Chinta vilapa rahitam. Chinta means worrying. Oh my God, I've got this problem. Oh my God, I've got that problem. Solve problems. Put your energy in solving that problem. If you're not able to solve the problem, leave it and focus on what we need to do instead of chinta. Constantly worrying why this problem is happening to me. What will I do? How will I manage it? Why is there nobody to help me to solve this problem? Everything is chinta. Vilapa, chinta is worrying within. Vilapa is talking about it outside. There is no use talking to people about our problems. Some people don't know what to do about it. They will listen to it. They will also suffer along with us. Some people know what to do. They will tell us we may not want to do what they want us to do. and they will tell others about our problems and amplify our problems by making it known to more people, broadcasting it. The third category of people will be very, very happy that we have got this problem, because they were wondering that you are enjoying life. Now that you say you've got a problem, they're very happy that you got it. So there is no point in telling other people our problems. It is not going to solve our problems. Out of mind onto paper is a very, very good method. Onto paper, you write the problem completely onto paper. You free the mind. The problem comes out of the mind and onto paper. You can destroy the paper. You can tear the paper. Then solutions will start springing from your head. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam chinta vilapa rahitam. No chinta, no worries, and no excessive talking about our problems to others. This is called titiksha. Titiksha means putting up with it. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Sri Krishna tells Arjuna, Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaham agama payino nityaha tam stitikshasva bharata. Problems come in our life because matraha, the tanmatras or the power behind the sense organs, come in contact with the sense objects, which are transported into our mind through the sense organs. When they come in contact, they create feelings of shita, ushna, sukha, dukkha, mana and apamana. Shita, ushna means hot and cold. Sukha, dukkha means joy and sorrow. Not mana, apamana exactly. These two are coming because of our sense perceptions. So just put up with them is what Bhagavan Sri Krishna tells. Don't fight them, or it's a waste of energy, because whatever has happened has already happened. When we try to fight it, we are wasting more energy for a losing cause. So the idea is to win. Only when we win, we can save our energy, save our fuel. Satitiksha nigadyate. Then Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Satya Buddhyavadharana Sa Shraddha Kathita Sadbihi Yaya Vastupalabhyate. Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya. The Shastras, Upanishads say that if you do this, you can achieve self-realization. The Guru who explains from the Shastras, who lives a life of that realization, also tells us, now it is just our simple faith to have trust in the words of the Guru, in the words of the Shastras. When that trust is something, there is a power that rises from within. That power contains energy. That power contains fuel that can propel us into that rocket space of the self. Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Satya Buddhya Avadharana. Have faith, saying, yes, it is the truth. What they speak is the truth. They are speaking out of their interest in me. The Shastras have been written by not ordinary people. They've been written by great rishis who have meditated upon this and arrived at the truth and passed it on for the other generations so that we may all live happily in our life. So they have not written it for name and fame or money. Have Shraddha, Sa Shraddha. Shraddha Katita Sadbihi Yaya Vastu Upalabhyate. With this Shraddha, I can achieve the truth. If I have that Shraddha, meaning the faith that what the Shastras and the Guru says are true, is true, with that, that is the crutch by which I can reach the truth. That is the ladder by which, that's a final ladder with which I can climb to that truth. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam, says Bhagavan Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. If I have Shraddha, I can get that knowledge of the self. Getting the knowledge of the self is attaining the self. That is liberation. Sarvada sthapanam buddhehi shuddhe brahmani sarvata tat samadhanam ityuktam natu chittasya lalanam. Samadhanam, or samyak adhiyate manaha iti samadhihi. Samadhanam is placing the intellect into the true self and resting it there, not allowing it to, not pandering to the taste of desires in that intellect. Chittasya lalanam means, chitta means takaro vai vishayaha. There are many desires in the intellect. That is called chitta. Chitta means consciousness plus objects of desires. Lalanam means pandering to their taste. There are so many desires in the intellect, but placing that intellect without propelling it into the world outside, in the true self, sarvada sthapanam buddhehe. Keeping the buddhi or the intellect resting in the true self, not allowing it to shake with our desires, in that Shuddha Brahman. Shuddha means pure, unmoving, no movement, that Brahman, sarvatha, at all times, in all ways. Tat samadhanam iti yuktam. That is called samadhanam. Even when two people are fighting over something, you just say, have samadhanam between you. Meaning, just agree to disagree and finish this quarrel and get along. Move on with your life. So that is samadhanam, is agree that this desire is there and I'm not going to go behind this desire. I'm not going to pander to this desire. Just stay quiet and be there at all times. Iti yuktam natu chittasya lalanam. Samadhanam is not pandering to that desire by providing the object of desire. The last one of this is mumukshuta. Ahankaradi dekhantan bandhan ajnana kalpitan swaswarupavabodhena moktum ichha mumukshutam. Mumukshu, the one who desires moksha, the one who desires freedom. Not a freedom that I will get when I die and go, I will be very happy. No. I want to experience a complete and permanent happiness right now. When I am living right now is mumukshuta. Moktum ichha. Desirous of that moksha is called mumukshuta. How do we arrive at that state of desire for moksha? Understanding that ahankara adi. Ahankara means the sense of the thought of I am this body. Ahankara. This body is the ahankara. This body, deha antan, the sense of I, the identification with the body, the thought of this body and this body, everything, meaning intellect, mind, intellect, everything, this body itself, and the I thought, meaning I am going, I am coming, I am fat, I am thin, I am hungry, I am happy, I am sad, I am intelligent, I am brilliant. Everything is coming from identifying with this body, mind, and intellect. Everything is bandhan. They are all binding. They are limited. Ajnana kalpitan. They are born out of our delusion. They are born out of delusory thoughts, delusory feelings. They don't have any reality of it, of their own. Swaswarupa. How do we get out of this? Swaswarupa avabodhena. By constantly meditating on who I am, by understanding that and meditating on that, I understand that everything else is temporary. They don't have a real existence. So that is called mumukshuta, or maintaining a constant desire to know the self. Maintaining a constant desire to know the truth by understanding that the body and the thought of the body, everything is only a bandha or a bondage. It is only a limited thought, it is only a binding thought, and it is not a permanent reality. So that is called mumukshuta. These are all the qualities of the seeker that are required. From tomorrow we will see in what intensity we should have those qualities, just in case we are choosing to live a life of liberation. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Bole Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Hare Namah Parvati Pataye. Hara Hara Mahadeva. Hari Om.